Today we're in Joshua Tree National Park. We're at the intersection of Old Dale Road and Pinto Basin Road. If you've ever been here or looked at this area on a map, you'll see a Y of two roads. Old Dale Road goes up one way and another road goes off to the right. And that's where we're going today. We're going to be going up Black Eagle Mine Road. Black Eagle Mine Road is a relatively easy road. It's a fairly well-maintained road. It goes about 9.5 miles from Pinto Basin Road up to where they have it blocked off because it runs into the backside of the Eagle Mountain Mine, which is private property and is now actually pretty much a ghost town. A really interesting ghost town, but they don't like people going in there, so they blocked it off with giant boulders. And here we go. Now, Black Eagle Mine Road is about 9.5 miles long. It's actually much longer than that, but the Eagle Mountain Mine Company has it blocked just inside of their property. So we're going to go up to where they don't want us to go any further, and we're going to stop there. This road used to run all the way into Eagle Mountain Mine, which is a infamously famous giant strip type mine. There's an entire town up there that's now a abandoned ghost town. It's a really very interesting spot. I've always wanted to go there, but it is closed and you're not allowed in. So this will be about the closest we can get to it. This is a fairly well-maintained road. As you can see, it's been graded recently. I'm going to give you a full review of this trail, an overview, a guided tour, if you will, so that you know what you're getting yourself into before you come up here. The first couple miles is, at least this time of year or today, it has been recently graded. It's very smooth and flat and boring. So while we're going through that section, what better time than for you to click that subscribe button? You know, we make videos for you as often as we can. We enjoy making these videos, and we would hate for you to miss one. So click the subscribe button, and heck, as long as we're at it, why don't you leave a comment? Let us know if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this series of guided tour type videos of different trails. Give us some feedback. Let us know if you need more information, if you would prefer less information. Am I talking too much? Am I not talking enough? Am I wearing the wrong color shirt? Whatever. Let us know. Give us some feedback because we love hearing from you. Now, this section of the road is in really good shape. We're going almost 30 miles an hour and it's as smooth as silk. But just because this is an easy and well-maintained road, I still like to remind everyone, especially people that are new to off-roading, people that just got their first four-wheel drive vehicle and are itching to get it out and get it into some dirt, do not come out here alone. By that, I do not mean bring somebody along in the passenger seat. I mean, don't come out here with just one vehicle. Because even on an easy road like this, things can go wrong. You can get a flat tire, something can break, somebody can get sick, who knows? It's the unplanned for things that you don't plan for, and having somebody there to help you out or to drive you out if needed can be a lifesaver, especially this time of year. Summertime, we're in the desert today. It is about 102 degrees. My guess is most of us, myself included, would not do very well trying to walk out 7 or 8 miles back to the main road in temperatures of over 100 degrees. So a second vehicle can be a lifesaver. Okay, so this is a little addendum to today's video. As we were headed back out at about the midway point, and we came up upon this. This is what happens when you bring a two-wheel drive vehicle, a regular street car, on this road. So lucky for her, we came by. We have only seen one other vehicle out here all day today, and they were gone hours ago. Right now it's 106 degrees outside, and it's about 6 miles back to Pinto Basin Road. So she was in some trouble, and had we not come by, she might have become one of those ones you read about in the newspaper. So that is what happens when you take a two-wheel drive vehicle on a four-wheel drive only road. Don't do that. This road does not go through. It does dead end where they do not want us trespassing any further, so we're going to turn around there. We're going to record the entire GPS track in a GPX file that will be available for download at our website, NotaRubicon.com. There will be a link directly to that page in the information section of this video below. click that to go right to the page on our website. There will also be additional information about this trail at that website, the GPS coordinates of the starting point, the ending location, a little bit of information and so on. All that information, including the GPS file, is completely free to download. You do not need to give us your email address. You do not need to give any information at all. You just click the button and download it to your computer. We did air down today before starting. This road is really smooth, so we may not have even needed to, but we air down just as a matter of habit. I knew that we wouldn't be doing any rock crawling or anything like that today, so we don't need to air down for that. But airing down softens your tires, smooths out the ride, so that if you hit any washboarded roads or anything, it just smooths the ride out, makes it just that much more comfortable. It's also helpful. There's a good chance we'll be going through some sand and that sort of soft dirt, and the air down tires are very helpful in soft dirt and sand so that you're not as likely to get stuck. So you do not have to air down for this road, but it's not a bad idea. We always do. Well, so far the road has still been pretty easy, even this little deep spot right there. So far, any four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle or SUV could easily drive this road. But that could change, so you're going to have to watch the whole video if you're driving a four-wheel drive vehicle to see if you can make it. Oh, we're at a rough spot here. So, let's see. The road was pretty washed out right there. There's a wash that we're coming down to go through. Alright, so I think we just ruled out all the two-wheel drive trucks. That's kind of rough here. Ooh, and off camber. But I think still any Wrangler, any stock four-wheel drive vehicle will still be good up to this point. But the road definitely has deteriorated from what it was earlier. Everybody always posts questions asking if their two-wheel drive this or that can make it. No two-wheel drive vehicles past that spot. I think that spot back there would rule out most two-wheel drive vehicles. Any four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive truck or SUV should be okay coming through here so far. Let's see what we have ahead. Another bit of a rutted, washed out section. Nothing too crazy. I think those all-wheel drive Subarus will make it through there just fine. Another spot where we're crossing through a pretty wide wash. So I'd imagine in the rainy season this would get a little wet, so that could be an issue. I don't think you'd want to be in this in the middle of a rainstorm or just after. Sand is a little deep, but not bad. And we're back up on flat, easy road again. We're 30 minutes into the drive, and we're now leaving Joshua Tree National Park. You see the gate there. So we've been in Joshua Tree. We're now leaving it. So now that we're out of Joshua Tree National Park, and according to the sign we just passed, in the Eagle Mountain Mining District, it didn't say anything about private property or no trespassing, so I guess we're still allowed to be here. I do know that, as I mentioned, where we're going to, the road is blocked, so obviously they don't want anybody going past that spot, which we won't be doing. Going through yet another wash. Must have gone through 10 washes today. Still in two-wheel drive. Been in two-wheel drive all day. Been driving 37 minutes now. We're About 7 miles in, I think. Bumpy, rutted hill coming up. So for the first time today, I'm going into four-wheel drive. Not because I need four-wheel drive traction, but because the NotaRubicon is a stick shift, and I want to be able to crawl up this hill slowly, and if I'm not in 4 low, I'd have to go up at 40 miles an hour so I don't stall it. So far, this is the biggest challenge of the road, and it's not much of a challenge. A little rutted there in the middle. It's a little bit steep going up, but not really a challenge in any way. And then it smooths back out like a freeway. And now we're coming back downhill, and ooh, this road is really rutted right here. It's not horribly bad, but it's enough to make me slow down and look twice. And then it smooths pretty much back out. Alright, now it's really washed out on the driver's side. It's kind of narrow, you don't want to fall into that. It's not a long way down, but longer than I'd want to go. A little bit of a rutted downhill into another wash. And now we're actually driving up the wash a little ways. Not much road left at this point. Kind of hard to follow. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so now we're getting into the trail part. As the road is coming and going. It went away and then it came back, and now we're just kind of driving up a wash. It might be a road. It's rocky and bumpy, but nothing extreme. And come around and see a little bit more wash, but it looks like it flattens out up there. Some little rocks to get over. All right, quite a few rocks here, and I want to get over them slowly, so I'm going to go into four-wheel low. So this section might separate the four-wheel drive from the SUVs. This is a pretty rough spot right here. I think any stock Jeep Wrangler type vehicle could make it through there. I wouldn't want to bring my full-size truck through there, even if it said four-wheel drive on the sticker. Yeah, that was a pretty rough section. Alright, now we've got a pretty steep uphill that is both loose and rutted and steep for added fun. So definitely going to need four-wheel drive here. Some big rocks in the middle there, probably bigger than they look on the video. Ooh, this is very loose. The trail that just keeps on giving. one more really rocky little section here. There's a tough section right there. And we're coming up on the end of the trail. Right around this curve is where the dead end is, where they don't want you to go any further. And because it's kind of a shelfy curve and there's nowhere to turn around, we're gonna walk up there first. And just around the curve is what I believe is the official end of the road. That little white rock there used to block the entire road, and it was obviously put there on purpose, so I know that we're probably not supposed to go past here. We could definitely squeeze by, but when we were here last time, that rock was there, and it was a clear do not enter sign. And the boulder here, even though you could squeeze past it, is a bit of a window catcher. You can see right there, it pokes out a little. And as you can see here, it's just a little higher over here. So you're gonna be leaning into it a little. So any wide vehicles would have to squeeze through there. It'd be pretty narrow. It's doable. So I don't need to see any comments saying, oh, yeah, I could squeeze my vehicle through there. Yeah, so could I. But we didn't because we don't want to be trespassing. And it's clear that they don't want us in here. So this is where we turn around.